Oh.
Big fella, he told him, he's hollering, don't go up there, they're killing up everything. And he told him, we came to stop it.
Hi y'all, and welcome back to the Storming Cellar. In this video, again, I had the great honor to interview with 98-year-old PFC Bradford Freeman, or Mr. Brad as he likes to be called, the last member of Easy Company of the Band of Brothers. My interview today focuses on Mr. Brad's recollection of events during the Battle of the Bulge. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with this battle, it occurred in the Ardennes forest between Belgium and Luxembourg and was the last major German offensive on the Western Front during World War II. The Battle of the Bulge was the largest and single bloodiest battle by the U.S. during World War II. The battle encompassed many divisions, regiments, battalions, and companies, but my focus is on one man from the 101st Airborne Division, 506 Parachute Infantry Regiment, Easy Company. So let's go now to my interview with Mr. Brad, a mortarman in the Band of Brothers. All righty, well, I'm here with Private First Class Bradford Freeman, who affectionately is known as Mr. Brad. This is my second visit to your home, and I really appreciate being here with you and hearing your story. So today, we're going to talk about Bestowed. And the 101st was resting in Mourmelon, France on 18 December. And you got orders to go to Bestowed. Now, paratroopers normally jump, but you didn't jump this time, did you?
No, sir.
Tell me a little bit about that, how you got there.
We was crowded in an open truck. And they said they didn't have time to get the planes in operation.
Oh.
But anyway, we drove 100 miles there with those, we were just packed. We were packed. We couldn't move. We were lean. If you was going downhill, you might lean 3 or 4 inches, but against the other boy. But we leaned back, and it wasn't much for the movement in there, in the thing. We were packed.
Not very comfortable.
And went 100 miles.
Goodness.
And of course, we was ready to go when we got out, but that we had people that had been giving up, and we didn't like that at all. So they went and got what they had, the truck. See, they didn't give us no ammo, nothing, and we were supposed to not kept what we had, but most of all of us did. So we had a little. And so whenever they got that, they got their trucks, the ones that was giving up. And of course, that was surely against us because we jumped and no way to go out. And so that was our way of getting by with it. And we couldn't train, we couldn't give up because that's the way we had done made that up, no giving up. Because we jumped in there and we knew we were in there to stay. We didn't have no way to go out.
Now, the 28th Division, when they came out, they didn't give you any ammo or just a little bit of ammo?
We just got part of what they had. And they went down the road throwing it out, and the boys going down the road picking it up.
What did you think when you saw them retreating? They looked pretty beat up.
Well, that wasn't very feeling good. And of course, we always think about one of the little boys. He always say, yeah, yeah, yeah. And a big fellow will come by him and he says, you just go ahead and we came to, we'll take care of this.
Oh.
Big fella, he told him, he's hollering, don't go up there, they're killing up everything. And he told him, we came to stop it.
Well, you didn't have, like you say, a lot of ammunition or heavy artillery or anything like that, but it was also pretty cold, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, sir, it was cold. Running on down with it. They said it's the coldest time they'd ever had, but it wasn't the morning we went there.
It wasn't that morning, it was later?
It just kept turning colder and colder.
Well, I heard it was like minus 28 degrees, which is unusual for Germany.
And so, well, we didn't have a clothes fixed. We didn't go prepared with it, but we had clothes, what we had on, and we took it, I reckon, because we went up, and after it started snowing, we went back and dug in a place and cleared the snow, because if you lay down in the snow, your clothes would get wet, but you could move the snow and go to the ground, and you'll do better.
Well, that makes sense, yeah.
Yes.
Well, the last 3 miles into Bastogne, you had to walk. Is that correct?
No, sir. We went up there, and where we got out, we went out towards Foy and the other thing, another town, and we was on the road straight to the one of the, I can't think of the name of it right now, but anyway, I always remember Foy because that was where I was to shoot whenever I shot, when I was ordered to shoot. That's what it was.
And you were a mortarman, right?
Yes, I was in the mortars. Malarkey, we could give it and tell me right where it was. We had maps, both of us, and we were shot by map.
So were you briefed on Malmedy and what happened, the Germans shooting the Americans prior to getting there?
Well, yes, sir. Well, I didn't know nothing about what they were doing. But anyway, whenever they saw the eagles, they took off and hid. And we didn't come in contact with them there right at first. And so whenever we did, they got back. And they went and got in buildings, and we stayed out in the woods.
That's probably a good place to be, right? Well, that must have, even though you were already battle hardened, that must have been a little scary knowing the Germans, what they were capable of doing.
Well, we met the Germans, and they did, being that the mortar squad was behind, and
yeah.
We wasn't doing nothing but about it. But anyway, it started snowing, and it snowed for 5 days, and no nothing. We was just in the snow.
Wow.
And so that they got started then, and of course we were still in the snow, and watching for things, and 2 planes came over us. They was our plane, and they strafed us at where the mortar squad was, because they thought that the Germans had that and had captured that our thing that told what we were, little strip of stuff, and so it was there at Bastogne, and then we got on out, and we went back and sort of got in there, and whenever it started snowing, we went back and dug in, and then we little ways, and so then whenever it come up with the 5 days, we didn't do nothing, but they got out the way, and we went back down there, went back to where they were, and made up with them. And we were supposed to go to one little place over there, and we didn't know, we didn't even think nothing about it, because we were just messing around. And you talking about Germans coming up that road, now they came up 8 wide.
Oh, wow.
And they took care of the whole road, and we was divided there for a little while, but no action, and just went on. And there was an old horse up there with the hide holding his foot up, as there wasn't no bone connected. And one boy said he don't need to be here. We wasn't even thinking about even going to a place to get in a fight.
Yeah.
So when they shot the horse, one shot it with a 45, not a 45. I don't know, Duke. We called it Duke Bond. It just was one that was flat, and he gonna hit it in the neck, but he didn't. He knocked the horse down. Another boy said he don't need to be hurt, so he said this old 8-1 will take care of him.
No, so he did.
And he did. And so we went on, and it was gun opened up. We didn't know where, we didn't know about it. And I got shot in the right leg. It cut a leader, but it didn't, no bone, no nothing. I mean, just a leader. And of course, me and another boy there, he arm and all up in there and in his body, and he was hollering, and the doctor started with me, and I told him, I said, he started cutting my britches leg. I told him I was from the South, get that other boy. Wasn't gonna cut my britches leg.
That's right, they may need those.
And so he took care of him, and then we started down the road again, and that same gun was one of them spinning kind, and that's, I can't think what it was, but anyway, yeah, we got shot at again, and me and him were going down the road. I could walk, but I didn't know which way my foot was going.
Yeah, okay.
And so so they got me over there, and whenever they got a hold of me, they put me in an airplane and shipped me back to England. And I stayed there for nearly 30 days. And before I got back, and the other part of the war was over about it, and they was up at Hitler's home, and that's where I went back to, up there and there. And
so you joined them at Berchtesgaden.
Yes, and I went back, but I wasn't with the boys that took the surrender. I was on the bridge. It was the replacements went back to guard on the bridge down below, and so that's why I was with a group that was guarding the bridge.
But you did rejoin Easy Company?
Sir?
You did go back to Easy Company?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I went back with the Easy Company, and we were down below. We was replacements, and not replacement back. So we was with them first, but we got back with them. But we happened to be guarding bridge down below. My end with that town.
No.
Uh-huh. So,
Okay. Now, there was a lot of action, of course. Colonel Sink, who was the regimental commander,
yes, sir.
and Major Winters, and of course Bill Garnier and all that. Now, Sergeant Garnier was seriously wounded at there. So, how did you think all the leadership responded to the action at Bastogne?
Yes, sir. Well, Garnier had been he wouldn't go back because he got hit down back below, and him and another boy, I can't call the name right now, but anyway,
Joe Toya.
Toya, yeah, and they was both had to get one leg. Well, they got Toy a leg. I mean, he could go with 2 legs, but Garnier never did. The rest of his Army life, he went with his crutch.
Did he not want to, or they didn't?
It wasn't. They couldn't get the nothing to hold on to his bones or something for him to be there. And he went and he went to Europe a lot of times on that crutch, and he went back to Europe all the time, a lot of time.
Of course, Major Winters was a fantastic leader, wasn't he?
Oh yes, sir. See, I was still. I got to be a corporal, so when they shipped me, I was still a corporal when I went to the 101st. But I was, let me see, what did they say? Anyway, they put me to the PFC, and I stayed at PFC.
Good place to be.
Yes. Colonel Sink never did advance nobody much without the other one was missing. And they didn't give permission. I mean, they didn't give nobody else nothing, and because they had trouble with one officer there, so they told me.
What did you think of Colonel Sink's leadership?
He was a good fella, and he'd come by and talk to you. He wasn't bigoted. He thought just like another man.
Yeah. Now, you guys were in Jack's Forest, is that correct? Pretty much the whole time, right outside of the town of Foy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, we were talking about how cold it was. It must have been hard to dig a foxhole, wasn't it?
It was. Well, see, that the snow covered it first, and it wasn't. Well, we used what the Americans had. We used their foxhole, and I used their mortar place. We did. Our boys did.
The heavy fighting on 24 December took a lot of casualties, but the next day was Christmas. Did the Germans lighten up a little bit, or did they just keep artillery barrages?
They didn't bother that too much. No.
On Christmas?
Oh yes. Oh, it was 5 days there. We just stayed there, and
nothing happened.
Then they started. They got to whooping the folks down, the Americans down, and whenever they was trying to come up to us, but they lost out a little bit. They said, I don't know. I didn't know nothing about it, but I heard that, and so they changed up whenever they saw the Eagles up there.
Yeah, I bet they did. Well,
and so went the other way.
You were so outnumbered by the Germans, and they had heavy artillery, but you guys hung tough in there. What do you think was the reason that you were able to hold off so many Germans?
Well, was when we went in, it was live or die, 'cause we didn't have no way out. We jumped in, and so it was down low. And that's what Mr. Winters would tell them. We came to stay, and we are here.
There you go.
And we're going to stay.
Well, you did, and you did a wonderful job.
That's all the way through it.
Now, I do have to ask a question, and be honest with me.
Yes,
Did Patton really save you guys?
sir.
Did General Patton really save the 101st?
Well, I wouldn't say. He turned, if he was the one, and turned after they was being whooped and came back after we stopped them. They didn't have no way of supplying. They were supposed to come through where we were, and we didn't let them. And so
the 101st did all the hard work. Is that right?
Yes.
When I think it was the 14th of September, I may be wrong, but anyway, Foy was taken during that time, but you went to a different town. Is that right? And that's where you were wounded?
Yes.
Newville? The town of Newville, is that where you were wounded?
Yes. Well, they came and they took Foy.
Mm-hmm.
And,
so after you got back with Easy Company, and were you just training after VE Day? Is that all you were doing? Waiting to hear whether you'd be going to Japan or not?
well, that's what we was doing. And they was arguing which way they was going to do it. Fly us 37 hours and jump.
That would have been rough. Of course, you'd been ready to get out of the airplane by that time, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah. But of course, they heard the other, and then we started doing, and they was going to go to Japan anyway. Mm-hmm. So they didn't, and they were arguing which way they was going to fly us at, or either come through the United States. Mm-hmm. And so whenever that other bomb fell over there, that stopped it. So, but I had done left it. I had done had enough to leave.
Enough points.
And they sent me to Marseille, France, and the boats that was carrying the plane struck a strike and left me at Marseille, France, for 14 days.
Oh, goodness.
And then I got caught back up, and I got to come out at the same time that we did, that the others did. But they got into some big ship. I mean, I done got back with them.
I mean, was everyone like just couldn't believe it?
Well, it was hard to believe, but it was good to believe. Mm-hmm. And of course, it was a lot of stuff messed around, but I happened not be right with them whenever whenever they surrendered. Mm-hmm. I was was a good minute that was coming back to it, and that's where I came back to. And I came back with it and was down there on a bridge. It was 6 on each end of a bridge, and we didn't know really what was going on too much. We could hear a little bit, but not much.
Right.
Because it was all right.
Yeah.
And so they surrendered, and and then some of the boys got too happy, got drunk.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, people were just a little too excited, huh?
Yeah. Whenever they went through and found whenever they were killing the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told that Leibgott, he was a Jew. And they said that he almost went crazy.
Is that right?
And he took care of a lot of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they had to take care of him, sort of cooled him down a little bit, I heard.
Right.
Because he was a Jew and he was mad.
I can imagine. Well, I think that that'll do it for us on this. I really appreciate your allowing me to come into your home and talk to you about this. I'm beyond words to thank you for your service and your commitment to America. That just not enough people know what you guys did, and hopefully videos like this will help them see it. Well, thank you very much. I certainly appreciate time with you.
You'll be happy.
Thank you, sir.
I'm happy.
I hope you enjoyed part 3 of my interviews with Mr. Brad as he reflects on his time with Easy Company and his band of brothers. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. And until next time, remember, always make sure your takeoff and landings equal.